We're continuing our journey into the Hermetic Principles, diving into a concept you may have heard before: correspondence. This idea, which many of you may know as above, so below, is all about the unseen connections between different layers of reality. In this video, we're going to unpack what that means and how this principle can illuminate so much about our lives and our place within the universe. The principle of correspondence is one of the foundational ideas in Hermetic philosophy. You might have heard it as the famous phrase "as above, so below," which we have covered in a previous video. It's an elegant statement that speaks to the interconnectedness between different levels of existence. In essence, it suggests that there is a deep connection or correspondence between the macrocosm, which is the universe, and the microcosm, which is each of us. It's as though we're looking at a reflection in a mirror, each level reflecting patterns and laws of the others. Correspondence encourages us to recognize that everything is interconnected. What happens on one level, whether it's physical, mental, or spiritual, resonates through the others. And while it sounds complex, we actually see this principle in action every day. The origins of correspondence go back to ancient times, particularly in Egyptian and Greek traditions, which heavily influenced Hermeticism. Hermes Trismegistus, considered the father of Hermetic philosophy, taught that everything exists on multiple levels, and understanding one level can unlock mysteries about another. The Hermetic texts, often attributed to Hermes, speak about how learning about the stars and planets, or the above, can reveal patterns that impact us below here on Earth. The principle isn't unique to Hermeticism either. We find similar ideas in other traditions. In astrology, for example, we see how cosmic events, like planetary movements, are believed to reflect changes in our personal lives. In Taoism, we see the balance of yin and yang, a form of correspondence between dualities. These beliefs all suggest that different layers of existence mirror each other in some way. Correspondence operates on multiple planes. Let's break down these three: the physical, the mental, and the spiritual. On the physical plane, it's about how larger patterns in nature or the cosmos can mirror patterns within our own lives. For example, just as the cycles of nature, birth, growth, decay, and renewal, are observable on a large scale, similar cycles can happen in our lives as we go through stages of learning, growing, and evolving. On the mental plane, correspondence is about understanding that our thoughts and emotions can mirror and impact the world around us. Our inner state can often manifest externally. Think about how your mood can affect those around you, like ripples in a pond. Finally, on the spiritual plane, the principle of correspondence reminds us that we are a reflection of the divine source. Just as the universe is vast and interconnected, so too is the spiritual part of us. It suggests that by understanding ourselves on a deeper level, we can better understand our connection to the greater universe. So, how does this principle show up in daily life? Correspondence teaches us to be mindful that the energy we put out can often come back to us in some form. For instance, if we cultivate a positive, supportive environment within ourselves, that's likely to show up in our surroundings. Another practical example is in relationships. Think about the saying, "You get what you give." When we give kindness and understanding, we often attract people who are kind and understanding in return. It's as though our outer life is mirroring what we project from within. Even on a broader scale, this principle can help us make sense of global events. By understanding patterns in history, for instance, we can anticipate possible futures. As above, so below isn't just about literal mirrors. It's about recognizing and understanding recurring patterns, whether they're in our personal lives or in the world around us. Correspondence isn't just a concept, it's a tool for spiritual growth. It suggests that by looking inward, we can understand the universe, and by studying the world around us, we can learn more about ourselves. This is powerful because it means we are never truly separate from the source of knowledge or enlightenment. Everything we need is reflected all around us. In our spiritual journeys, the principle of correspondence encourages us to observe patterns, trust intuition, and recognize that we are connected to something greater. We are not alone in this universe. Every aspect of us mirrors something beyond ourselves. To put this in real terms, let's consider a few examples where correspondence might come to life. First, think about learning a new skill. Often, the process of starting from scratch, practicing, failing, and eventually mastering something mirrors larger cycles in our lives, like moving through stages of growth and transformation. Another example can be seen in the ways families pass down behaviors and beliefs through generations. Often, you'll see a correspondence between a grandparent's values and those of their grandchildren, even if they didn't spend much time together. This connection, or pattern, shows how values and lessons are mirrored within family lines and affect our lives in unexpected ways. And let's consider something as simple as our own emotional states. When we're calm, we tend to attract calm situations and responses from others. On the other hand, when we're stressed, we often notice more conflict or chaos around us. In this way, our internal state corresponds to what we see reflected in our external world. These examples highlight how deeply this principle is woven into our experiences. When we understand correspondence, we realize that nothing in our lives is random. There are patterns, connections, and rhythms that can guide us towards self-awareness and wisdom. So, how do we practice this principle in our daily lives? A great starting point is to observe without judgment. Look at your surroundings, your relationships, and even your own habits, and ask, what does this say about me? How does my inner world correspond to my outer world? Next, consider practicing mindfulness. The more aware we become of our thoughts and actions, the more we'll see how they shape our experiences. Correspondence encourages us to look at everything as a reflection or lesson, guiding us toward understanding ourselves better. Finally, try using this principle as a guide for problem solving. When faced with challenges, instead of reacting impulsively, take a step back and ask, is there something within me that mirrors this situation? What can this moment teach me about myself? By doing so, you're aligning yourself with the natural harmony of the universe, seeking understanding rather than resistance. Correspondence reminds us that the universe and everything within it is deeply connected. As we look around, we see reflections of ourselves in people, nature, and even the stars. By practicing mindfulness and understanding these patterns, we can become more aligned with our purpose, finding lessons in every experience. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the principle of correspondence. If you enjoyed this exploration, please give it a thumbs up. In the next video, we'll dive into the principle of vibration as we continue exploring the depths of Hermetic wisdom. Subscribe to continue this exploration together. Until next time, remember, your inner world is constantly shaping your outer world. Keep seeking, keep learning, and know that everything is interconnected.